Prince Harry and Meghan, in my view, they came to an event we did for female education. They were brilliant. And she was particularly good and articulate and on it and on the detail.
So you got on quite well.
And yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel everyone, and thank you so much for watching. What's going on, guys? I'm Jade. If you're new here, please hit the like button and also share this video. Thank you so much for being here. So tell me or ask me or tell me why people are mad at Boris Johnson. Tell me why the media, or should I say the British people led by the British media, are mad at Boris Johnson. I'll tell you. Mind you, this is Boris Johnson, the once upon a time favorite, the Brexit Boris Johnson, the one who succeeded in removing the United Kingdom, the person who succeeded in giving them Brexit after several, at least a couple of other prime ministers failed. Like, he's a national treasure. I mean, I know, we all know how that went. After the Brexit, we know how the economy basically tanked, okay? But they were happy. They were happy that they were finally able to leave the EU. This is the same person that they are dragging for filth all over social media and cancelling up and down. This man had a prior interview, BBC interview, that was cancelled. Because, why? Because they did not like that he was defending Harry and Meghan, particularly Meghan. He talked about how brilliant Meghan was. Oh my gosh, they decided to cancel their Donald Trump of the UK. Listen, okay, let me say this. Boris Johnson does not necessarily enjoy being compared to Donald Trump, okay? Doesn't necessarily like it. I mean, I can't say I blame him. Like, who wants to be compared to Donald Trump? No one that has any type of morality wants to be ever compared to Donald Trump. Anyway, so he's getting dragged today. He's getting dragged recently because of his book that was released. And he basically talked about how the royal family basically tagged him to maybe, quote unquote, talk some sense into Harry. And this was, you know, towards the end of Harry and Meghan in the UK, this was around the time that they were getting ready to leave, relocate, move out of the UK. And so Boris Johnson writes in his book that, you know, somebody contacted him and asked him to like speak to Harry to see if he, Boris Johnson, can convince Harry to stay. And so he took on the task, the daunting task of convincing this man to leave his wife, because mind you, by that time, Meghan was already in Canada, okay? And it was just Harry who needed to stay behind to, like, you know, finish up some of his prior engagements, some of the things that he had planned, you know, before. So it was less than a day before he was supposed to join Meghan in Canada. And so Boris Johnson was tasked to speak to Harry, to try and convince Harry to remain in the UK. So this is what Boris Johnson wrote in his memoir, okay? It's currently. And so, obviously, Boris Johnson, after writing that in his memoir, is now coming back to backpedal and say, oh, it wasn't necessarily that somebody from the royal family told him. It wasn't because they tasked him to do this, but he did it because he just felt like Harry and Meghan were assets to the UK. And anybody, like, you don't even need to be a rocket scientist to know how much of an asset Meghan was to the royal family. You don't even need to know. So now everybody, so he had to do this interview, okay? It was already bad enough that people, he had to be contacted, or you have to set the record straight. You have to come here and straight up basically say, no, nobody tasked me. Everything I did trying to get Harry to stay was just something that I felt needed to do because nobody. So basically he's trying to now like walk back what he said at the initial stage. And then when he then went on to talk about the reason why he felt that Harry and Meghan should have stayed, because he believed that they were assets to the UK. All hell broke loose. They all lost their ever-loving mind. Let me tell you, if you see what some of the things that have been said on the internet about this man, remember, this was their golden boy. This was their Donald Trump. This was the closer. He was the one that closed the Brexit deal, y'all. Oh my God. They turned on him because he told the truth about his observations about Harry and Meghan. Particularly, I think what even pissed them off the more is that he was very, very intentional about saying, particularly Meghan. That really, really, really rubbed them the wrong way. They were losing their minds. They were calling this man all kinds of things, calling him everything but the child of God. Listen to what he said. Listen to what he said. Obviously, he's saying something that I already know. If you are looking at Harry and Meghan and just looking at how much of an asset they are from a lens of a non-biased lens, if you're looking at it from, a neutral standpoint, you know that Meghan was an asset. She could have done so well. She could have reached places that nobody in this in the current working royal could have reached. Meghan could have united the Commonwealth the way that the royal family wants to, but cannot do it because of their jealousy. Nobody else, no outsider, especially not a mixed race woman, is going to come and take the glory. Because when she's reaching all these people, when she's reaching all these areas that the royal family has not been able to reach, it's going to come with its set of glory. It's going to be glowing reviews about how amazing she is, how relatable she is, and how wonderful she is, and how much of an asset she is. And they don't want that. They don't want her to get all that glory, because it'll make jealousy is a dangerous thing. Because that's all it boils down to. It all boils down to jealousy. Jealousy of Meghan taking the glory, achieving what they have not been able to achieve. They don't want that. So they were very, very okay. Like, it was a non-conversation when it came down to deciding whether to kick Meghan out, subsequently Harry. Because ultimately, if Harry wanted to stay, he could have stayed. They have till tomorrow. They have no problem with Harry. Their only issue is with Meghan, because Harry can come home anytime. And trust me, they will write a glowing review. They will write an amazing think pieces about why Harry should be forgiven, why Harry should be accepted. They will then remind people that he lost his mother from a very young age. And so he would have been so, so vulnerable to somebody, to this, like, I don't even want to give them any idea. But trust me, they know how to get the people to turn around and feeling sorry for Harry. They have worked as hard as they have worked to get them to hate Harry. They also know what to do. They know the buzzwords. They know all the things that they need to say to get Harry. But this is why British people and the media are mad at Boris Johnson. Like, they are cancelling this man left, right, and center. Take a listen. He didn't lie. If you've been paying attention, you've been watching everything that's going on from an unbiased standpoint, you know that he's not lying. He's telling the gospel truth. Whoo! except for those who do not want those truth told.
Prince Harry and Meghan. Prince Harry and Meghan, in my view, they came to an event we did for female education. They were brilliant. And she was particularly good and articulate and on it and on the detail.
So you got on quite well
and
with Meghan?
Yeah. I got on well with both of them. And I also worked with Harry when he did his Invictus Games for disabled veterans in the Olympic Park. And so in a sort of, fit of pomposity, I thought, this national asset is leaving our country. I think he's...
Did you see her face? And this is one of the people, from what I have, from my research, she is one of the anti-Meghan, what's the word I'm looking for? Leaders, okay? She never has anything positive to say about Meghan. She always only has negative things to say about Meghan. Just take a look at that face when Boris Johnson said that Meghan and Harry, Meghan, because, he's talking about Meghan, that Meghan is an asset. Look at her face. This is the look of disappointment. This is a look of disappointment. Like, you can see that she is so heartbroken. You can see how heartbroken she is about this. That how dare you, Boris Johnson? How dare you say that Meghan is an asset when in reality we want you to say that Kate is an asset? Look at the look on her face. This is the look of somebody's heart breaking. This is a look you make when your heart is breaking in real time. I was like, what in the actual hell? Is it that serious, lady? Look at her face. Oh my God. Woo. How dare you come on my show and say and give this glowing review about Meghan? How dare you come on my show to say these wonderful, amazing things, trying to convince my brainwashed audience that Meghan has some good in her, when the entire time, all these years, I have been doing my job. I have been working overtime to paint her out to be a something completely different, negative in every sense of the word. How dare you, Boris Johnson, come on my page and say nice and wonderful things about Meghan? Like, this is the look on your face when your heart is breaking in real time. Seriously, this was so gratifying to watch, because I have heard a lot about this person and all of the things that she has supposedly done. She has spearheaded. She's one of the flag flyers of the anti-Meghan bullying ring, basically.
A force on the whole, could be on the whole a force for good.
Let me roll that back.
Asset is leaving our park. And so in a sort of, fit of pomposity, I thought, this national asset is leaving our country. I think he's a force on the whole, could be on the whole a force for good. I'm going to try and discourage him. And so I had a pathetic attempt at that. It didn't work.
So he's saying now that he was the one who attempted, that this was not something that anybody from the royal family reached out to him and made him do. That's okay, Boris. We know you told the truth the first time. The first story you gave us sounded more plausible than what you're saying now, because I don't even think you knew them enough to try, because it's like a family matter. So I don't think you will even get involved in a family issue. So yeah, the first one sounds more plausible, that they figured, oh, you guys have had a couple of events together and you guys have had your encounters. Maybe you can convince Harry to stay. Yeah, your first story sounds more plausible, but I commend you for, for telling the truth, at least doubling down on saying that Meghan was an asset, you know. So kudos to you on doing that, because it takes a lot, especially when you've been paying attention to everything that has been going on, the anti-Meghan campaign that the British media have launched, you know. And so, but this did not sit well for a lot of the people. They were upset, and they literally cancelled his BBC interview, because guess what? They don't want enough people to be exposed to his truth, to what he has to say based on his observation of Meghan Markle. They don't want that. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment. Like this video and share. I will catch you later. Bye.